welcome to the Gothic Unicorn and to a somewhat different video this time, because for once I'm not working on anything miniature. Now I would love to actually do what I'm going to do in a miniature version, but I've not yet found the right item to work with. And if that sounds a bit cryptic, well, yeah, I suppose it is. But I found something this week, and me being me, I can't just do what it says on the packet. And the item in question is a Halloween ceramic. Now this is a pile of 3 pumpkins that I picked up from Aldi of all places. This is an unglazed ceramic piece, and I think, I'm going to open it. It's got a hole in the bottom so you can put a tea light in. Now I have got a tea light. It's a colour changing one, so hopefully it will show up even though it's daylight. And hopefully you can see that you stand it over the tea light and it will glow. Now I've painted Halloween ceramic pieces. Well, I did plaster pieces, didn't I? To decorate outside the doll's house, but this is definitely too big for that. I do, however, have a bit of history when it comes to ceramic pumpkins, and I would love to do one, a single one for outside the doll's house, but it would need to probably be smaller than the top one, and I've not seen one that sort of scale. So I'm going to show you what I like to do to them, what I want to do to this one. This is my big ceramic pumpkin, my corpsed jack-o'-lantern. Now this started off as a ceramic piece, unglazed, although it was coloured. It was green and orange to begin with. I'm just going to turn it over and you can see that I've turned it into something quite awful. And that's what I'm going to do with the stack of them. I actually, and I'll just move this guy out of the way, I have another one that I bought last year intending to do, and that's this guy. Now he is different because he's obviously glazed, and I just didn't get to him last year. I may try and do him at the same time as the stack, not sure, but I'm going to have a go at corpsing some pumpkins, and hopefully you're going to come along for the ride. Before I start on the pumpkins, I just want to show you a couple of other things I've been doing, kind of miniature related, kind of not. Now first off, I picked up these tombstones. Now these are more paint them yourself. We've got resting pieces and trick or treat. Now these are designed for kids to paint them, and if I get to it, I'm going to paint these and use them as ornamental pieces outside the doll's house. Who can resist a good tombstone? I know I can't, and I think there's enough detail on there that if I paint them carefully, they'll make a nice little decorative piece. And the added bonus, they'll go with the tombstone I made last year. You know, tombstones are quite often fairly large in real life, so I think I can get away with them. So I'll pop those out of the way and I'll show you October. October's bubble is already done, and I've gone with a ghost and a couple of gravestones. I actually saw something similar that somebody was doing, made using polymer clay. I've used air dried clay. And yes, my ghost is a little bit pointy, but who's to say he can't be? I like him. I think he's going to fit well within my year of glass baubles. And it means I've got another one done, which, yeah, I wasn't sure was going to happen this year. So, back to the pumpkins. The first, well, we're not going to actually need many things to do this job. Most of what I need is paint, but the other things I'm going to need is I'm going to need some cotton. These are cotton, well, we call them cotton wool in the UK. These are just balls of cotton that you can get for beauty, medical purposes, you know, cleaning things up, that sort of thing. And they're great because you can unroll them. You can also get them in big rolls. You just pull pieces off. That's great if you can get it. I had trouble getting the balls that I could unroll. Mostly what I see these days are pads for doing your makeup, taking makeup off, that kind of thing. But this is what I need. And glue. Now, in this handy dandy plastic tub, I've got a mixture of water and white PVA glue. Now, that comes out of this bottle here, but this bottle means nothing. I just use the bottle on my desk. What I've actually got here is builder's grade PVA glue that we buy in a big 5 litre container. And it's the sort of stuff that you might use for sealing surfaces, concrete surfaces, walls, that sort of thing. You'd use it for that. I use it for craft purposes, and it does work really, really well mixing it with some water. And what I'm going to do, actually, I think I'm going to show you on this one because it's a bit bigger and it will show better against the orange, is I'm going to take my cotton and I'm going to split it down again, and I'm going to add it into the glue water mixture. Now, you don't want it dripping. As I say, this is PVA glue, sometimes referred to as white glue, school glue. It's great stuff. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start building up the face on my pumpkin. Now that, which is brilliant, goes nicely around his eye socket. And we're going to repeat with the other piece. Now, what you could do, if you prefer, is you could put lots of pieces in and let them soak. I'm not, because I'm not that organised. Now, I've rolled that one a bit more, but we shall see how well it goes round. And again, now I don't know how well these are going to stick to his slightly glazed face, but we shall see. It sticks very well to the unglazed stuff. It's just I'm going to need a lot smaller pieces. I'm going to be ripping it up more and all that. And I'm going to carry on with this. I'm going to carry on and I'm going to do all around the face, and then I'm going to start putting some pieces over the shaping of the pumpkin. As much or as little as you like. What you're trying to do is add some extra texture before you get to actually fully corpsing, which will involve obviously the paint. I allowed a good 24 hours for the glue and water mixture to dry, and I've put a coat of black paint on the stack of pumpkins. And as you can see, it's not the best coverage because it takes quite a bit of paint to get in amongst the texture of the cotton wool. But it does illustrate why I do this, because it gives plenty of texture. So this is going to need some more black paint, but what I have done is I've got the other one, I'll do it like that, the orange one, to show you. Now you can see that even though this was shiny, that has set and it's well attached. Obviously I've started painting this. I thought it had dried a bit more than it has, but it hasn't. So I'm going to be covered in black paint again. And what I will do is I will continue putting paint on this. Now I will say that although you can just paint the ceramic bit, the textured bit where I put the cotton wool needs more paint, and it needs more of a stippling technique. It takes a while, and yeah, this isn't going to be so bad where it's orange. If that shows through, it's not so bad. Obviously I've got to try and get all the white bits, unless I want to cover them with a colour and use it as highlights. You can do that. So I'm going to now get on and paint the rest of this, and then once they are done we will start on adding some colour to it. With the black layer all done and dried, it's time to start adding the colour. Now I have pulled out 3 different pumpkin shades, and they are guava, deep orange and clay. Now clay is more of a terracotta colour, and that is the one that I like quite a bit because it looks dirty. On top of the black it looks dirty, but the other two are really useful because you can put in highlights and things like that. Now you can use any colours you want. I've used yellow occasionally, a bit of grey to make it look a bit more rotten. Anything goes. So that's my paints. Now I have started on the stacked pumpkins. I have put some of the clay on the bottom pumpkin. Now I'm not sure if I'm going to do all 3 colours or if I'm going to do 2 colours with a different one as the base colour in the middle, just to highlight the fact that they are 3 separate pieces. Not sure yet, but I've done that. And as you can see, I haven't been too exact. That is because we are going to build up layers of colour. Too much in the first place, too perfect, you won't get that look that you want, that sort of mouldering, quite repulsive look really. So I'm going to turn back to the bigger one again. It's a bit easier to show you. I have put some paint on the bottom. I've just put a rough coat on the bottom so that I can put it that way up and not get it stuck to anything. And I'm going to coat my brush in some paint. Again, it's clay, and I'm just going to start doing around the face. Now what I'll show you on this bit at the side is that whilst it goes on to the flat bits, you can quite quickly build up the texture on the bits where we added the cotton wool. And this is exactly what I was trying to explain earlier with the black paint. That already looks quite good. Now I'm going to start on the eye socket, and I've got some bits of white that are showing there. So if I try and make sure that I get some orange over those bits, even when it dries, will look lighter than anything that's painted over the black. Again, adding to the texture. Now, I don't want to go all inside with the orange. I've made a bit of an effort to get black certainly around the openings and over most of the interior, but I'm not looking for a perfect orange interior, because I want it to look, yeah, gruesome, spooky, whatever you like. This is more like dry brushing, really. Again, just keep building up the paint. Now I'm starting with this clay because I've just done it on the other one. I will add more of the others as I feel I need it. And as I've shown you, it's really easy to get a highlight on the top where you've got the texture. You just need to, in effect, dry brush it. This is just time consuming now because you've got to get the effect you want, and I'm liking it. I do like these gruesome kind of pumpkins, so I'm going to carry on with this, and I'll come back when I'm a bit farther along to show you how it's developing. After I got the basic paint on, I went back and just added more and more and more, and I quite like how this has come out. Now, I've managed to get what I wanted, which was the look that it's 3 different pieces. They're different colours. I have used all of the colours on all of them, and I've also used quite a bit of grey to give it a very dingy, yeah, not the best kind of a look. I've got my candle. I don't know how well it's going to show up in this light, but I think that's going to work when it's dark. It'll look okay. I actually used a changing colour one because it was what I got handy, but it does allow me to see a bit better than a plain one might. Without the filming light, it would be far better. Yeah, I like it. Now, I could at this stage add a coat of varnish. I'd want to go with something matte because I like that matte look, which is, I'm just going to leave it. Obviously, if I was making these for somebody else, I would definitely put a quick coat of varnish just to make sure it lasts a bit longer. Now, the big one is here, and I love how he has come out. Now, I am thinking I'm going to stick a piece of felt to the bottom because he's just got a ceramic bottom, protect my surfaces and all that. I can't do that with that one because I've got to put a candle in. I may, not this year, but I may in future make a false bottom for him so that the candle will sit on the false bottom and it'll fasten onto that, and it'll, again, protect my surfaces. Otherwise, I could just stand it on something, a coaster or something. But I like it. I painted the little stalks in brown. Green is wrong because they would have gone brown by this stage. But I like his face. His face has come out an absolute treat. And considering he was shiny in the first place, there's not an hint of that shininess left, which is what we want. So, there we have them. My pair of grew some pumpkins. As I say, I would love to make something along these lines for the doll's house. Maybe if I could get one, single one, that was a similar size to that, I might be able to. But I've got so many things that would be ideal for Halloween. And yeah, ideas that is, that I just don't have enough time for. And I've actually had to put off finishing this video because I've not been very well. So yeah, why does Halloween have to correspond with the sickest time of the year? Just isn't fair, is it? If you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you have, please like, comment and subscribe, and ring that notification bell so that YouTube should tell you when I've got another one up. I will hopefully have a couple more videos out this month. Fingers crossed. I've got, as I say, lots of ideas. It's whether I've got the time to finish them off. But rest assured, I am working on miniatures. I'm working on spooky stuff. I'm working on ordinary stuff for me, which means it's a bit spooky. And I'm working on Christmas stuff. So hopefully there should be plenty to come. And until next time, bye.